So,
God, they look giant compared to what's
that'll
on
be
there.
good,
Oh
won't
my
it?
gosh.
Okay.
Are they too wide?
Oh, there it is.
They look like
They'll be just fine.
they look too wide.
Okay.
Wow, I expected them to be smaller.
You
As
like
long as
that?
they fit.
How long do you want me to do this?
Probably 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
It's been that long?
Yeah,
Really?
really. How long has it been in the garage over there? Probably 3 years. 3 years, probably. I mean, honestly, it was your idea at first.
My idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are. These control arms have to come off. Now we have to reuse these bolts right here.
That is a roll pin punch.
Look at that roll pin.
They can't get up there.
One bolt in. So dark under here. I hate dark. I like to be able to see what I'm doing. You know?
Yeah.
I want to be able to see what I'm messing up. Okay. Well, I don't care for that. I mean, I gotta tighten it up, but still, yeah, I can't see taking this whole body off of this. Because that's what the direction said was.
If you need me to hold it, I can, but I'll have to put the camera down.
Shocks back in. I'm shocked how quickly that went in.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if this goes as easy. I need my brake pad tool again and some steel right there.
Okay.
My custom golf cart lift kit installation tool up underneath here. These aren't wide enough for the shock to go in. Just so we're on the same page, these are the way it's supposed to go. I'm gonna have to have a piece of steel.
Okay.
I don't think these are gonna just stop it.
Okay.
See if we're close. Nope. Can't imagine something aftermarket that doesn't fit. If you're doing this, you need one of these custom lift kit installation tools. You know, they're reasonably priced. You can find them on Amazon. You know, only you have to decipher the foreign language because the language calls this, in their words, a brake caliper piston retraction tool. But we all know what it is. It's for installing lift kits on golf carts. They can't fool us. Alright, this sway bar bracket is supposed to mount here where the sway bar used to. Run a bolt through here, and then you run a bolt through here. There's already a hole kind of punched in here, but it has to come in from above. So this plastic well is supposed to come out. Look at it from the top, you can see it. This bolt, they want you to pull the push pin out. There's these little pins like this that we're holding this bottom of the tray in. They want you to run this bolt down through on top of that plastic. Well, if you do that, the only thing that's going to happen is that plastic's going to break and deteriorate, and then your bolt's going to be loose. I'm going to not do what they want. I'm going to lift this tray up and put this underneath it and let it go between the two. I'd rather this break out above because this panel, can you see this? See how broke up this is? I may or may not have had some Group 31 batteries in here for jumper cables. Just saying. So I'm going to lift this up and put it underneath, but that's not what they want you to do. All right, so this bracket, I got that bolt down through, and I don't know why, but look how big they made that hole. And then this one's slotted, right? And they sent it with no washers, just a bolt and a lock nut with an elongated hole. I mean, that's horrible. You know what I mean? If you're gonna make an elongated hole because, you know, things are gonna be off a little bit, at least send a washer for the bolt. You know, that's awful, you know? I can't get a washer on there, and I'm not gonna put a nut in it and be half off, so we're gonna use standard hardware, and I'm gonna have to file this hole out a little bit so my bolt fits in it. This is the one I'm using, and it doesn't quite fit. It's just off, just a small amount. So, and that's a punched hole, so I should be able to file just the opening, and it'll fit. It'll probably go through this side a little bit more. Yep. All right, let me get that filed out. All right, so I got those two tight. If you were looking at longevity, this is a horrible kit, you know, because it basically, it disregards anything like these bushings here, the way the bushings are on the shocks. I mean, it's just going to destroy these things so prematurely. But I guess we're not putting miles on it every day, right?
Right.
All right, let's get this rear end. I'm going to jack the rear end up before I tighten this, because can you see how severe this angle is right here of this sway bar? If I tighten that up, I'm just going to put it in a twist. So I'm going to try and load it first, and then we'll tighten up the shocks also at the same time. All right, I put never sees on the steel hub, because these are aluminum wheels, and on the lug nuts themselves, because they're dissimilar metals. And what we're going to do is tighten these down and then put the weight of the cart on the suspension and then tighten up these pieces and see if they're at a better angle. Because if I tighten them up hanging like that, there's a good possibility that they'll be tightened on an angle and put unneeded stress on the bushings. As always, torque to spec. Alright, next we need to put riser blocks on the steering knuckle. Because as you can see right now, look how steep that angle is of the tie rods. What we're going to do is put these riser blocks on. They will go right in between the two. They got this relief cut out for the spindle, so there's clearance there, but it goes right in between the two. That way it straightens us out, and then we'll adjust the tie rods, even though theoretically you shouldn't have to adjust it, but it wasn't right to begin with. So we're gonna clean it up, see what we can do with it. Since we got a steel bolt going through an aluminum bracket, we may never ever need to take this apart, but you just never know. An ounce of prevention's a pound of cure, especially with these cheap bolts going in aluminum. The likeness is they'll break before they'll come loose anyways. That's one. I'm not putting never sees where the nylock goes. Because it's a nylock nut. I want to make sure I get enough that when we stick it in there, because there's no way you're going to ever run a nut up and down this. This bolt probably should have had a smooth shank down so far instead, but you know, engineering on this is nowhere near as sophisticated as what we're used to. washer on the bottom and a nylock nut. I was going to put a thread locker on this, but I don't think I'm gonna. Something wrong with that nylock too. It almost go on a 1/4 turn on either bolt. That's fantastic. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? Actually, they don't even fit. That's the wrong thread pitch. It's not even the right one. That's not it. So, thank you very little, old China import. We don't have the right nylock for the other bolt. Fantastic. They sent us 2, and they're not the right thread.
Okay, so we went and bought the bolts for it. We couldn't find what exactly was in there. So we bought the smooth shank, which he said is what should have been in
Yeah,
there.
it should be smooth shank in here and not threaded. It should have been smooth till get to here.
And it's got some thread showing, which is what it should have.
Yeah, the nylock should have a few threads past the nylon on the nylock, which now it does.
The other ones were too short, huh?
Yeah, they're about a 1/2 inch too short. Now we'll put this wheel on. We're going to take the other side off, swap those bolts out, and then we're going to have to align it. So we'll bring you back once we're ready to do the alignment. Alright, this thing, the kit says to use the 3rd hole on the control arm here. See this? It says to use the 3rd one, as in right here. But when we did, the tire was leaning in like this. So I took it up one more because I figure if it's going to lean at all, let it lean out so when we actually put a load on it, it'll come down and straighten out when you're sitting on it. I would rather...
Yeah, it did.
I'd rather it be correct when you're on it than incorrect when you're sitting in it. So now we're going to do the alignment. So the first thing we want to do is get the steering wheel straight as it can be. And we're going to take the jam nuts loose, which I've already done. And they're back here, these adjusting sleeves. There's an adjusting sleeve right here. Probably see it better underneath. Underneath here. There's one adjusting sleeve there.
Can you see?
Yeah. There's another one right here. It's got a jam nut at the end of the tie rod. I backed them off. And now what we're going to do is we're going to measure on the tire. I've made marks right here in front of the tire. See the blue? And I've got one over here. It's 39 1/4. And I've also got the same place marked on the back side of the tire. And what I'm going to set this at is 1/8 of an inch towed in. That's what I want to set it at. So we're going to adjust those sleeves by shortening that sleeve or lengthening that sleeve, and it will either bring the tires in or bring the tires out until we reach 1/8 inch. Alright, so we're going to line this. So the first thing we want to do is get our steering wheel straight. And the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our front wheels are going to be in line with the rear. So we take a string across the back tire. It's touching in the back and all but touching right there. You can see it moves just all but maybe a 32nd of an inch. And I bring that string forward to something stationary. Alright, so I got it sitting on this big Group 31 battery so it won't move. Now what I have to do is I have to bring the string over until it touches that tire in the rear. So you're going to tell me when it touches that tire in the rear. Because that little 32nd of an inch makes a huge difference up here.
It's touching.
Alright, now what I have to do is bring these out. You see how far out we are? The back wheels are wider than the front, which is okay. This may not touch that tire, but we want this to end up to where if we're measuring from here with a tape measure, if we measure at the same place, what we're after is an 1/8. We want an 1/8 inch toe in, like this. So the front, I'm going to set it as an 1/8 inch toed in. So that means we have a 1/16 of an inch difference from front to back, because that's half of 1/8. So on this side we have 15/16, and on this side I have 1 inch and 1/8. So we're quite a bit in. So this needs to come out. Now, before we can start that, we have to center our steering wheel. See how far off we are?
Yeah.
That's the way it'll end up going down the road.
You just move the wheel.
Yeah, just for measuring, just for showing what we're doing. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go down here to the adjusting sleeves at the bottom, under here. Under here. And I'm gonna lengthen or shorten the adjusting sleeves, which are right here on the tie rods. I'm gonna shorten these and lengthen them until this tire is where I want it. Okay, and you can see how we're pointed in. So what I need to do is shorten that tie rod because it's behind the axle, the pivot, the center spindle. So I need to shorten it, and you're going to tell me when it looks like it's even. Am I going the wrong way?
I don't know.
Nope.
Yeah, you're going the right way.
Okay. Check that steering wheel again. Recenter it, because we don't have it strapped down.
Okay.
Okay. Now we'll measure here. I've got 1 1/16 and 15/16. That's what I've got now. So we just need just a little bit more to make this side right. And I'm going to go with that. You recheck your steering wheel. 1 1/16.
Okay, it looks straight.
Okay, I'm at 15/16 and 1 1/16. So I just need just a little bit more. Half a turn on the way. Double check your wheel.
I just moved it because it had moved, so.
Okay. That is exactly 1 inch, and that is 15/16. So now this is good. So now what we have to do is we have this in line where we want it. Now we have to measure the side to side. So we have to get in front of this tire, and we have to make this tire match this tire. So we have to measure from the outside. I've marked a spot in blue chalk here, and we'll measure in front of the tire and in back of the tire, and that'll tell us where we're going here. So that is 40 1/16 right there. Now we'll go to the back side. This is 41 1/8. So this one has to shorten up quite a bit. Is that right? 41. Yeah. I could do the math and figure out where to shorten this to. All right, we're down to, There's 40.5. All right, let's check the front. Remember, we want this to be an 1/8 difference. So there's 40 and 11/16. So I am 40 and 11/16, 40.5. I am towed out right now, so I need to lengthen the rear. I'm gonna go 1 full turn long. Check your wheel.
It's straight.
Okay. All right, measure behind. Let's see, I got 40 and 5/8 now. Well, I need just a little bit more. We're almost there. Give this a 1/4 turn. I'm looking for about 40 and 3/8 here. Well, it didn't even make a change, did it? There's 40.5. It's 40 and 9/16. So an 1/8 total is going to be 40 and 11/16. See if you can go 1 knob down lower. Alright, so I'm at 40 and 5/8. 40 and 5/8. So it's a 1/16 more than I really wanted. So I could shrink this up just a little bit. Let's call that good. That's 40 and 5/8. Let's see what the front looks like.
Do you want to go to the chalk mark? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at a, well, tell you what, let's go right there. That's 40 and a half. We're close enough. I'm happy with that. Check your wheel again before I tighten down these jam nuts.
It looks good to me. Does it look good from there?
Yeah, it's close.
Because it's hard.
I mean, it's still just a golf cart.
I know. Well, yeah.
2/16, so it's pretty good. All right, take this up. I mean, it doesn't have to be this critical, but I know how you like stuff.
No, that's you. Everything has to be just so.
Huh?
Everything has to be just so. Which I'm glad that you don't hack stuff together, but sometimes, you know, it's a little overdone, but that's okay.
I guess we'll see how well we did. Our redneck alignment machine here. Let me put this away. What do you think?
I like it. It rides nice. It's so tall. I just can't get over how much taller it is.
Yeah. What's next? What does it need now? I wish we knew somebody that made golf cart seat covers.
Yeah. Someone named Chuck?
Who?
Maybe someone named Chuck.
Maybe somebody named Chuck knows how to
But
make
yeah,
seat covers.
it definitely needs to, like, this is so old and dry cracked.
Yeah.
And then it needs a paint job.
Then it needs a paint
It
job.
used to be white and it's chipping off and, you know.
Yeah, well.
That don't look bad. And you want to take that off.
Yeah, we're going to do away with this part. We don't need this rear seat.
And
We don't need this at
you
all.
might make me a little dump bed back here.
Yeah, we're thinking about making it flat with the dump because that's really what she needs. Right now you need to pressure wash it
Yeah.
because it's a wreck.
I know.
Guess that'll be it for this for now. Looks like you need step bars. I gotta do some of that brake pedal, it's sticking.
Yeah.
I've sprayed it, but she hangs on to the key switch like she's actually starting it. Alright, let me get a battery in this thing.
You want it in or just?
Yeah, go in. Get a battery in it, and I guess we'll run around a little bit today. Alright guys, that's all we got on this one. Hope you enjoyed that.